Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Wherever you are, welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Bob. Here I am, your Sensei Bob. Mm, and having brunch. Last night I had a very interesting dream about two brothers, hero and villain. And they were twins. We couldn't tell them apart. And this is a story the old crone told me. And then I had a dream about it last night. So that's always interesting when that happens. The old crone told me this story when she picked me up at Trinity. I met her in the library. I was in the reserve library studying uh, the ancient Celts, the bards and the druids, and smell arose, and I heard a clamor. And I turned around, and there was this old lady at the gate of the reserve library. And reserve library, Trinity University is the oldest school on this earth that's been, known of and has been continuous um, for almost 4,000 years. And is part of Alexander. See, Alexander's library wasn't in one place that got destroyed. Every neighborhood that he conquered more or less because people wanted to join the club. And so he went in there and he gave a regiment to whatever king was to keep order and to train an army in good arming and to build institutions, like the institution of what was known as the council. That would be like the politics, right? And then there was the institution of the treasury, right? It's like the banking, right? And there was a institution of the logos, cadre, the literary, those who could read and write and philosophize. And philosophy was pretty much everything, not just everything, not just Marx, not just Engels, not just any of those guys, Malfoy's. Um, that was science, math, you name it. That was philosophy. And so that was Trinity, right? There in Dublin, Ireland, right? I got there because I was sent by my mentor, my theater mentor, uh, Marilyn Tulin of Lincoln Center, of Juilliard, of Hofstra University, of Boston Opera. And she's the one who got me involved. Jane, how you doing? Good afternoon, good morning, whatever you are. I'm here in Boone, North Carolina. This is my YouTube spot. A little cup of soup, and, a little French baguette. And I had a dream last night. Was about two twin brothers, hero and villain, right? And this story was told to me first by um, the old crone, right? So we first met when she was dressed as a bad lady. And she told me that I needed to come study with her. her mystery school. And I said, I was sent here, you know, by my, mentors in New York to study here. And she said, you can learn a lot more from me. She said, even from this place. She goes, this place is a good place, but more from me. And I said, I don't want to get anyone's nose out of joint here. She said, well, you just go see Bob. I said, Bob? I mean, Dr. Bob? Bob who runs the whole place, not just the director of the library, director of the this studies or that, the dean, the principal, the man in charge, General Domo. And she said, yep. She said, go up to his office at 11:45 and see him then. So I looked at my watch. It said 10:45. I said, right now? She goes, yes. I'll pick you up at the front gate tomorrow. Okay. So, I put all my things back in the carrel. I kind of locked it all up. I come back. I went over to the head librarian who I knew, and I said, here's my key. I'm going to take a sabbatical for, I don't know. She goes, was that the old crone? I said, yep. She goes, I heard about her. I never heard. I said, yeah, I saw you go up to her and then kind of freak out and run away. And then someone talked to her. She goes, yeah, that's the old crone. And I said, well, she told me I should study with her. Oh, yes, go study with her. Go study with her. And this lady was the head librarian of the special library, of the reserve library. I said, well, here's my key. I got my stuff in there. I'll be back when, who knows, but, I'm leaving the key with, I'll take care of it. No one will touch here, Carol. I'll put this in my desk. I said, okay, we're all good. So we were all good. And I basically, you stay there for a moment. I'll be right back. Just have to step away for a second. I'll be right back. And so I walked out of the reserve library, went over to the administration building, and I looked at my watch. I found out where the head domo's office was. I went up there. I got there around 12:38, and I was in the hallway, and I could see his door was open, and there he was. And there's the picture of him, Major Domo. Right? So look at my watch. 12:46 and a half. I'm waiting. Then one person walks out, another person walks out. And the head lady sticks her head in the office. I'm going for lunch. Why is that? She goes, no. She walks out. The door to the hallway is open. The door to his office is open. There's no one there. 12:45. I walk in. And I said, hello, sir. I am. He goes, I know who you are. You're the dude. I heard. The old crone came to the reserve library and told you to come and see me and tell me that she wanted you to study with her. I said, that was all of 40 minutes ago. Well, when you left the library, the head librarian of the reserve library called me up, told me that you were coming. And I said, what's his name? She goes, well, everyone calls him the dude. So he woke me up and he knew my name and he knew Marilyn too, and that their theater department and hers were connected, and she was on the board of the Irish National Theater. Hey there, fish. And so anyway, I said, well, you heard the story. He goes, well, yes, go see her. Go study with her. You can learn more from her than anybody here. And I said, and she's got a better library. I said, better library than the one here. And this thing goes back to Alexander. He goes, yes, but hers goes back to everywhere. And I was like, holy moly. And so anyway, I went, I walked out, and right at the steps, Archie was waiting for me. Hey, Jamie, I'm telling a story about um, the ride from Dublin to where the old crone's mystery school was. And that's why people can't find it. It's a mystery. So anyway, I, Archie took me out. We went down to the Skull and Whoopie and had a tan and black. And I started drinking Patty's Irish whiskey, my favorite. Actually, I have some right here. And anyone, where Jesus' first miracle on the books was he turned wine from water, and the water that he used was the water they used to wash people's feet with, right? And once he just went, yay, and then people took, wow, this is great wine, and the father of the bride was all upset with the wine steward. Here it is, the second day of the wedding, and you're bringing up the good stuff now after everyone's all drunk and half the people have left. What's going on? And the father of the bride's drinking his stuff, and the wine steward said, no, sir, that's the water that was used to wash feet with. You got spits up. What? Yeah, that guy over there, Mary Magdalene's boyfriend, turned that stuff into wine. You too can do it. All you have to do is have a vessel, put some water into it, and go. And have a conscious intent in turning it into the best wine ever. Pretty good stuff. So anyway, Archie and he told stories of the old crone and him when they were young, and he was younger than she was. She was undetermined age, and he was 80 something, but still in good shape. He could out. He walked those hills looking for pyramids. So I went to bed early. I wasn't really drunk. He gave me a nice little bottle. He goes, Bill Crone gave me this. She told me to drink half of it before you go to sleep, the other half once you wake up. So I did. Went to bed in my little apartment, which was a room, about 12 feet by 12 feet with a bed in it, a desk, and a standalone armoire and one window, kind of like a cell. Anyway, and that was in one of the older buildings of the library. And so that was what it was. And I woke up and I kind of packed all my stuff into it. And I didn't have that much to begin with. And whatever the books and that kind of stuff was in my Carol in the library, and in the room, nothing. My stuff, I had a rucksack, as they call it. And I hit the road, went downstairs, walked to the main gate, and there was this Jaguar XK12E. I mean, it had 12 cylinders, and so this person was leaning on it, and it was a pretty hot-looking babe, red hair, and red light suit, and a pair of dark sunglasses. And I went over, I I look this way, I look that way. She's the only one there. I go over there. Hi, are you? Yeah, I'm that old bag lady you saw her yesterday. So get in. We took off and we're going. So you're the dude, eh? What's your real name? I said Al Bob. That's what's Al. My real name is the Old Crone. And so we are zipping through, and it's early. It's like 7 a.m. You know, I was told to go up there as soon as the sun rose, right? So I did. I mean, it hadn't risen real. I mean, the sky was illuminated, but the sun hadn't come over the hills, right? So the sun wasn't on that front of the building until I got there. I walked out of my little apartment, down the stairs, out into the main um, green, and then over to the main gate. Went through the main gate. There she was, waiting. And I said, "Oh, did I have you?" No, I just got. She said, "Get in." I got it. And we take off and we shoot down. Instead of taking it and going down O'Connell Street to the main drag to the west side in Limerick, she went through um, the Fisher Village Old Oak Brewery neck of the woods, right? And we stopped off at a not a McDonald's, but this cute little tea house. Went there, and she introduced me to the lady, and who is somewhere between 17 and 30. She too had red hair. She looked like a younger version of Bill Crone without the red jumpsuit. And she had a pair of jeans and a t-shirt and an apron around her. And you know, so Crone said two large espressos. So espressos that big, right? And some goodies, right? Goodies. Right? So the inside was blueberry scones, soda bread, a little loaf of soda bread, a little loaf of blueberry scones, and then some sweetbreads, which are these bread that are sweet. And the closest thing I can come to them is what the Chinese make. They make buns, right? These are so there were buns, and they had meats in them, and they had fruits in them, and they were cooked, and they were very yummy, very sweet and savory at the same time. Pretty interesting. And a nice cup, about this big, of sweet cream, which is almost like whipped cream, but better. So it was in a box. Hands me the box. We each have our right, and we get in the car, and it's convertible. Right? So she said, "Put up your window halfway." Dude, she hands me this thing that like hangs on the window. This is before cup holders of cars. Put the my espresso right there, and we take off, and we're like zipping all through, and she goes, "And that's that brewery, and that's this, and that's that." She gave me like a little tour. We pop out, we go over this little bridge, and we shoot out, and the main road is up there. We've just missed going through all of the traffic stuff, right? And we're on this parallel road. That's we went over this little stream that was part of what the Erin is, and we went along this peninsula, and this the main road kind of merges with this road, and then goes over the big bridge, and you're now way out of town, heading towards Limerick and the Ring of Kerry, and we do. Anyway, so we have the niceries of who I am. She not tell me who she is, but who I am. Where my life story, right? And she has somehow gotten my curriculum vitae, right? Sees all the things I've done and all the people I've been with and all the stuff I knew, and we're going, right? And we start philosophizing, right? Why, so why did I come? He goes, well, I know why you came. You came to go to the school, but your friend didn't want you to go to Vietnam and die. And you would not have died, but that experience was not meant for you now. And you are meant to like be with me and study. And so I did. I'm just going. So we get off, right? And we're zipping in about an hour, and we're talking, and we're drinking our espresso, and this espresso is really good, black, 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 no latte, no black, right? And it is good coffee. And dunking that soda bread into it was like, whoa. Then eating those sweet, so she goes, just drink a little bit of your tea and coffee, then dunk some of that soda bread in. Oh, and then not only did we have sweet cream, we had sweet butter. Take some of that. That was really whoa, right? And she take another sip of your coffee. I did. She goes, okay, now she picked up a bun and she says, here, have this. And it was the one with pork in it and a barbecue sauce and a thing that was like pineapple and lemon. So it was sweet and savory and everything else in between. And I chomped on that, and boy, that was good. So we were talking and talking. So, and when she said, and I know why you're here, stay away from the Vietnam War, then she tells me her war stories about World War One, and that she had gone to Oxford and became she's the first woman to, or one of the first women to graduate as a medical doctor, a surgical doctor, chemical doctor, everything doctor, medicine, as a woman, right? Because she went and graduated first as an MD, and then they said, oh well, there's no room at the inn for you. Why don't you, you're a great student. Why don't you just keep, why don't you take surgery? So she did, became a great surgeon. No, we can't put you in a hospital. No, no, no. And then, why don't you study, chemistry, endocrinology? Well, they call it something different, but that was coming about. And so she did. She went to Germany and studied that, and then came back just before World War One. No, she went to France and volunteered in the French army to be a doctor. Her credentials were so up, and she could speak French, German, Portuguese, Spanish, English, right? And so she they gobbled her right up, and she was right on the front, right on the front. Bloods and guts, and she looked like a butcher more than anything else. So she said that wasn't for you, right? Your war is more of a diplomatic. You're going to be seeing conflict, but more of a diplomatic form. And so I said okay, and I'm just listening. I'm not like even talking. I'm just like, good, yeah, oh yeah, like this. And we're doing like a zillion miles an hour, and in a red 12-cylinder Jaguar, and she's in a Red Baron flight suit, and she had this collar, and then she pulled it off so it was just her face, and she had goggles. It's like it was pretty amazing. So we're zipping, and we go through Limerick, and again we kind of pull into Limerick, and we go have tea, right? And we get some sandwiches and a whole bunch of stuff. We have tea, and there's the lady who's in there, who looks like the older version of the younger girl in the coffee shop, the bakery. And this was more a tea shop that had sandwiches and stuff. So she got a whole box of sandwiches, right? And we drank tea, and we just drank a little tea, and then one of the women there read my tea. Crone was talking to the lady who owned the place or ran it, and she gave me a cup of tea, and she said, "Go over there and speak to Esther." So I went over and spoke to Esther, and Esther read tea leaves, and she read my tea leaves, and she said, "Well, um, you're going to meet me again when I'm younger." This is an old lady. You're going to meet me again soon when I'm younger, and I'm like, okay. And she goes, well, I can tell you now. is that your experience with the old crone will be a lifelong one. And not many people have the opportunity that you're having. So, you know, be aware of that. Be of conscious intent and conscious awareness. Know your 20, know your 360. Okay. So, and she goes, I'm going to tell you a number of things. And then when you get out to the car, you'll forget them. But as they happen to you in life, you will. So, now, she said that I would die near a body of water, but elevated off the ground, and I would be with friends. And it wouldn't be a big deal, except I might get a broken rib. Okay. And the third, second time is thing. Second, I'm going to tell you is that you're going to have many, many women in your life, and they will all be great women, and they will all be special, and you will be like twin flames to all of them. But when you are 42, you will meet one who will be extraordinarily special. And you will spend many years, and then she will die in your arms and come back to life. When she dies in your arms, she will die for a long time and then come back to life. Not like a few minutes, but hours. Like she will be pronounced dead. She will be core. She will have rigor mortis. She will have all those things that dead people have, but she will come back to you through your tears. The third time was you when you get old, very old, you will meet a young person, and you and her will have children together, and they will be special children. But you will be very old, and you will live for them, and then you will pass away. But you will die many, many more times, and each time it'll be a lesson. But now the old crone wants you, and I hear, "Hey, dude, come on, let's go." So I say, "See you, Esther. I look forward to meeting you when you're younger." And she smiles. And she hands me her hand, and I take it and I kiss it. She kind of goes, "Oh, you're so sweet." And we get in the car and we take off. And she goes, "So, what do you think of Esther?" She goes, "You know, nice person. How about all the stuff she told you?" I don't remember anything. And the old phone smiles. We take off. And so we drive for another untold amount of time, but still it's daytime, earlier in the day rather than later in the day. And we hit the Ring of Kerry, and we take the second ring, and we go to see a friend of hers. And we have all these, we have stuff. She goes, um, keep the buns, uh, take, bread, and take the other stuff. So we had a big box of other stuff, and we went in, and there is this guy. Okay. He meets us, and he and the old crone are just lovey-dovey, kissy-kissy, rubby-rubby, and she introduces me. This is the dude, my new apprentice. And he was, apprentice? Uh, you're a lucky boy. I said, what? He said, that's your new name. You're the lucky boy. Forget the dude. You're the lucky boy. That's your name. You're the lucky boy. You know, for short, YLB, or lucky, or lucky boy. Right? But you're the lucky boy. YLB, okay. So when people ask my name, YLB, right? And when they get to know you better, you're the lucky boy. Right? And so the old crone smiles again. Well, C2, I'll tell you something. It's on the west coast. It's between Skibbereen and Glendore, but it's up in the hills. You know how the mountains between Skibbereen and Glendore, the mountains kind of come down, right? Um, and there's a road that goes straight up there. It's like a one-lane road, and it's like a cliff on one side and the mountain on the other side. You shoot up for about I don't know, 3 or 4 clicks, and there's a little town up there, and it's more or less, you know, a. I think it's advertised as the highest pub in Ireland. You know, it's up in the air on top of a mountain. But it's also like a general store. It's also like the post office. I think it might have a gas station in front of it. But this, this goes back to 1988. God knows what's there now. Um, and then you went, you stopped there. You wanted to stop, and then you kept going. And there are a couple of houses nearby. And then you keep going, and then there's a farm or two on either side. It's very cleared, and the road is no longer a cliff. There's land over there, and it's all farmland, right? And then you kind of get to the end of that, and just a click or so before the end, there's a forest that surrounds the cul-de-sac, right? And you're coming up. You've gone past that little town, and you've gone past a couple of farms. You've gone past a little uh, highest tavern in Ireland, and then uh, you know uh, the couple of houses, and then a couple of farms, and then a few more clicks, and then there's woods, and you're coming up, and you see this cul-de-sac, and there's a shadow, and that's the road into her farm, and you go through the woods, and it's like a tunnel. And Ireland doesn't really have too many of these forests left, and so they you go and you go and you go and you go through this dark tunnel, and then you pop out. And it comes out, and this is a big valley, mountains on either side that go up not as far as on one side, the forest that you pop out, that side of the valley has a forest, and there's a lake here, and there's this kind of mountain over here, and the waterfall goes in the lake, and that mountain kind of smooths out as the hill going up to the mountain. And so you come out of the woods, you come along the lake, and then you go over where the mountainish comes down, and that's where her farm is. And the whole thing is hers: the lake, the woods, the mountain. It's all hers. And you come around the lake, and then you go over, and you kind of go around. There's a house up here and two barns, and there's another stream coming this way. That there's a pondish thing, and the stream has a number of waterfalls coming down to that stream, and that stream goes into the lake, right? And the road, so the lake is over here, the pond is over here, the house and the barns are over here. The road goes over a nice little bridge, and right to there. So that's the best I can explain it. And I went to see her 3 more times after I saw her in the, 69, 70. And that's about it, right? And the third time I went to see her after I was there, I brought my new wife with me, Donna Ann, and we couldn't find it. And I went back to the pub after we went up the road to a cul-de-sac, and I just kind of circled it a number of times, and we got out and we walked a clicker, looking for that shadow. It wasn't around. It was all woods. And I went back, and we went to the pub. And the old guy, who wasn't so old, I mean, when I first went there, he was probably in his 40s. So he would have been in his late 60s. And there was another guy. And that guy said, "So where's the other guy?" Oh, I bought this place from him. And how about the old crone? Oh, she's just a myth. I said, "Well, no, she's no. I studied with her. I was, the lucky guy." I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. Meditate. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, good dragons back in the day. So we stop up to this guy's house. We bring in the goodies. He tells me my new name. Does anyone remember it? TLG. YLG. LYG. Which one is it? You know what they say? The teacher waits for the student. Meaning the teacher goes and finds the student or creates an event for the student to show up. You really can't show up on a real teacher's front doorstep without a realization of the invitation. Yeah, yeah. But you want to study with me, you can get a hold of me at the dude awake 42 at Gmail. The dude awake 42 at Gmail. I thank all those who have thrown something in my PayPal, and I invite everyone else to do the same. So I'm now here at the Deep Green. This is where I really do live on $400 a month. And back in the pandemic days, they gave us all an extra 150 bucks for food. And now, with they're all going, oh, inflation's going up by 7%. No, inflation's been going up forever. It just every now and then it spikes. Back in the day, when I took my first course at Georgetown University in demographics, economics, and strategically placed statistics, our professor said, "Hey, boys and girls, welcome to this class. I am here to teach you how to lie with numbers." And that's all of the above. When your central bank, like ours, the Federal Reserve has as much to do with the federal government as Federal Express. Federal Express actually has more to do because it was started by the CIA. And don't believe a word I say. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your sensei, Al Bob. I'm here to tell you a story, and don't believe a word I say. You're the lucky boy. Yes, that's me. Run, you lucky boy. That's what I do. I run. I'm always on the bop. I move so much, I don't get stuck, but that's my getting stuck. There were at least 8 times in my life that I was at a perfect place. When I was at Glendora with the doctor, I'd still be there if I did what she wanted, married her, and had more kids. I would have been their mayor or priest or whatever I was doing there. She was a doctor, and we would have had a great time. But I had other things to do. And I want to say she was clinging because she was great. But we all have these characteristics in ourselves, which are the good, bad, and the ugly. And that's what I'm talking today about, is the hero in the villain. Right? So there I was, with the old crone in this old guy's place. And, old crone, the old guy, the lucky boy. And they were telling war stories. They had known each other in World War II. They were both in North Africa. And they were studying archaeology all during the war. They would run into places while the war is going on and get the artifacts and run away. Something akin to, Indiana Jones and that movie about the guys who saved all the art during World War II. That's an interesting story. So they were going on about that, and we had a great old time, and we were just drinking his poutine, right? Poutine is home brew, right? So his home brew was more psychotropic than alcoholic and regenerative. I mean, it made you feel really good. So it was truly an amazing beverage. And he had, oh, what do they call it? It's the dessert that all week long you make a pudding here and a cake there and a this and this, and then on Friday you mix it all together and put other yummy stuff in, and that's what it is. It's a term for that. And so we ate all those sandwiches that the person at the tea house gave us, and uh, and the bread, and then he made some really, like I said, some wild beverage, and the beverage kept changing. First, it was like champagne, it was like an aperitif, and then it was like a very sparkling wine, and then a hearty wine, and then a something close to you know Irish whiskey. And then it went into another taste treat, and that's when we ate the dessert. Anyway, we were truly satisfied. Say, oh boy, your hand in your pants. Oh yeah, it's a good meal. And they're telling more war stories and all of the above. And she goes, well, we have a place to be. I gave him a big kiss on each side of the cheek, and he shook my hand and said, remember, you're a lucky boy. Have I don't know why our connection is unstable, but please wait while we try. There we go back there. Am I back? We back? Cream. What is that? Cermem 2? What is CREMINB 2? Uh, am I back? Are you there? Someone say something, and I'll keep going. Otherwise, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your Sensei Al Bob. And I'm here to invite you to go visit me and talk to me on my email, yep, which is due to wake 42 at Gmail. Due to wake 42 at Gmail. The due to wake 42 at Gmail. Okay. And I'd love it if somebody threw something in PayPal. That's how I kind of survive, and that would be nice. Thank you for those who have put something in on my birthday. It's my birthday. You have to remember, my birthday is 365 the year. English trifle, that's it. Thank you. Jane, you're always right on the button. Uh, those trifles, they're not so trifling. They're really yummy. So anyway, we left that man's house, and we went on. And this is when the old chrome, as soon as we were driving out of his little cul-de-sac and onto the road of the ring, one of the rings of Cary, yeah, I hit my thumb. I had to fix things in the deep green. The deep green was in pretty good shape. I have to admit, it was in pretty good shape. And I got here yesterday because I don't like driving in the rain, and so I drove in the sun. It was a beautiful day. Nobody on the road. Made it big, that boop, no problem. About 3 hours, and got into the deep green, and just went home and started to unpack. Turn the juice on, turn the water on. Water needs fixing, and this needed fixing, but nothing was really wrong. And the animals did go crazy and rip things apart, so it was all good. We'll have to clean up a little bit, but that's that. So anyway, we're on the road, and we're coming onto the main road off of the from where the guy lived, and she goes. So we were telling you war stories. Actually, yep. And she goes, in war, there are two people. There is the hero, and then there's the villain. Depending on which side of the hedgerow or the line you're on is what you are. But the true hero, the true character, it doesn't depend on which side you're on. It's your actions that speak louder than words. And that goes to today. So you look at what is going down, and you can tell who's the hero, who's the villain. So the she said, so the man we just left, what do you think he was, the hero or the villain? And I said, well, um, you tell me. You were there. She said, he is English, and he lives in Ireland, and he lives in, you know, the free Ireland, not England's Ireland, of Northern Ireland. So you tell me. And that's, pretty much I was smart enough to always say, you tell me. He usually wanted a real opinion, and then I would. But I would flesh out the question before I went to the opinion. So anyway, she said, well, we were, World War II, we were, I was considered an agent of the Queen, and he was considered a criminal. And yet we were doing the same thing. I was doing this to get information as intelligence for the English government, and he was doing it with me to protect artifacts so it wouldn't fall into either side's hand, because he was there back in the 1890s to 1910 at the Thule Society. And he was a guy, I mean, why did, Hess and the other Nazis go to Antarctica in the 30s? Because the Thule had been there from the 1890s to 2010. I mean, 1000, until the year 1910. And they uncovered some extraordinary artifacts, like where humanity came from, where all of the mystery schools came from, what connection extraterrestrials and dimensionals had with the human race, which is why the human race is so strange compared to all the other species on the planet. So that was the storyline of that. So she was telling me the story of their journeys and his journeys, and his brother. So his twin brother and he both went into the Thule Society, and so when 1890s to 1910, Thule Society, and there were a whole bunch of other societies. Thule. There's another one that sounds kind of like Thule, but isn't. And that one is less Germanic and more Gaelic. It's more like the Vikings, the Nordics. And that's who they came from. Each of these societies had representation right? So his two twin brothers, right? The hero and the villain, H and V. Um, the hero was the one who was trying. They were both in the Thule Society, and in the Thule Society there were many different good, bad, and different people there, all there for different reasons. And there was a sect that was in the Thule Society that served love's co-creation, right? And their secret society heritage and nom de plume is one of that's why it's a secret society. you know, when John Kerry was asked about when he was running against George W. when he was on TV, someone said, "Well, both you guys belong to Skull and Crossbones." And yeah, we both are members of secret societies. And he read something that Kennedy wrote and had in a speech about secret societies. You should go Google that. Kennedy's speech on secret societies. Go Google that. It's homework assignment. And about 2 weeks later, he was shot in the head. Yes. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll get right back. What do you mean? I just turned this into wine again. And so around 1910, the brothers split. And V stayed in Germany with the Thule Society, and H went to Ireland to teach at Trinity. And then he went back to England and went to Oxford. And that's when he met the old crone. And then they went off to France to study the new science of bacteria and viruses and the chemistry of the body. And they bumped in a few other just look for the old crone. Her name is not mentioned. It's like Doctor Who. No one knows his name except Water. Uh, so so they met in France, and then they went and served on the front for the French during the First World War. And his twin brother V was playing both sides, right, of the war, making money, selling weapons, selling information. He was still in Germany. He was still at that institute. And after War One, he left. And he had done many, many despicable things, killed many, many hundreds of thousands of people by the despicable things he did. But the English, um, brought him in with open arms, right? And he started this thing called the Tavistock Institute. And Bernays, who was Freud's nephew, gets all the credit, but there are other people there. So time went by. The old crone and hero went back to Ireland. Um, then World War II came about, and that's when they, through this other secret society, went off to North Africa and got artifacts out of harm's way. Didn't per se take them away, but brought them to a different level of being hidden through ceremony. This is where she learned a lot about dimensional fog. And that's what we're all living in right now, the dimensional fog. And, well, she must still be alive. Well, just like Jesus is, you know. If Jesus wasn't alive and kicking on this planet, we'd be toast, right? Jesus didn't go nowhere, He went over the hill. He didn't ascend. He went over the hill with Mary Magdalene, and they went on to Greece, and that's why the only Bible you should read is the Greek Orthodox, because that's what he wrote. He also left a number of parcels of notes, because he's the most literary guy of the apostles. The apostles were morons. And basically, he left, like the Dead Sea Scrolls is one of his little, chunk of writings he left. And he left them on that whole trip from that part of North Africa all the way across the Mediterranean, through Greece, up through Rome, and then into France, right, where he started the Merovingian family. Him and Mary Magdalene had a bunch of kids, and they had kids, and they had kids, and they had kids, and they're still popping them out, right? Still there. There are a number of societies that have something to do with that, and so nothing is what you think it is. It's pretty much it, right? And that's why when you serve love's co-creation, that's when you are truly at home and at ease, right? And the difference between the hero and the villain is the hero is at ease in everything the hero does. The hero is at ease. Whereas the villain is dis-ease, right? So you have to understand that, and to see that, to appreciate that. So, I have to. No, stay here. I won't. But I have to get going. Yes, that's what I have to get. Just get going. So, I want you to watch this over and over again. I probably won't be back. Maybe Saturday, maybe Sunday, maybe not next week. Probably not. Who knows? But that's all I got to say for today. But I'll pick it up from this point on. The old crone and her friend hero in the Mideast during World War II. Okay. So, love you guys. Remember, the dudeawake42 at Gmail. Send me something in my PayPal. I love you all. Catch you later.